I just want to start us off with a chart if I can. This is G #BTV5105 for viewers able to see their Bloomberg terminal. Shows solar and wind installations heavily outstripping coal. Coal, the yellow line there, declining quite steeply. Now, is this something that Energy Australia is looking into? I see you've got solar projects, wind projects, gas projects on the go. Is it all over for coal?
Coal is the bedrock of the Australian energy system. It still provides around 3/4 of the energy that we use for mums and dads and businesses across the country. That said, we do see a transition coming between coal, wind, solar and other technologies. And what you're seeing on that graph is the speed at which we're putting in wind and solar has been quite phenomenal. We have had a series of policies which have encouraged that to come forward, which has delivered a whole lot of benefits from consumers and for businesses. The challenge is that the solar and the wind produce when the sun's shining and the wind's blowing, but they don't have that firmness characteristic, the choice times where you can turn power stations on and off that you get with some of the coal. And that's the piece that's the current challenge that the energy market and the policymakers are working through today.
Well, we do, of course, have Elon Musk in South Australia building that enormous battery, trying to solve that particular problem. But I guess a bigger picture has been the political dithering we've seen in 8 years. We had a carbon price and then we didn't have a carbon price and then we had a series of prime ministers. For you, leading a major energy company, what kind of difficulties does that create?
It makes life hard. There's no two ways about that. And the bit that I think sometimes we forget is we were actually in Australia among the best in the world in designing policies to address affordability, reliability and climate. If you go back to 2003, the New South Wales government introduced the greenhouse gas abatement target, which was one of the early climate policies. It was a great policy. It was technology neutral. It just said, look, all we want to do is we want to reduce emissions over time, particularly as old power stations come up to the end of life, replace them with something that has fewer emissions, that's as affordable and reliable as possible. We built the Tallawarra Power Station, a combined cycle gas turbine, off the back of that policy, and it was really working. But more recently, the past 10 years, we've run into a series of political challenges where schemes have come in and schemes have come out. And that's a terrible environment in which to look at investments which last for 30, 40, 50 years. But we started in a good place, and I think the challenge from here is how do we get back to that good place where we're saying these are the characteristics of the system we want. Industry, rush off and invest to give it to us. We've done that before, and that's where we want to get back to.